everyone, all the awesome people who are watching us today. Welcome to Goal Getters with Rajat Soni. Goal Getters started as an initiative to have change makers come and share how they are making a difference to the world. The idea was that it inspires people, not only parents and teenagers, but everyone. It inspires people to live with purpose and to live with a lot of love in their hearts. Thank you for such amazing feedback that you gave me to my post on I Am Tamana, on Tamana Chona. I Am Tamana is the journey of a remarkable individual with grit and courage, resilience and tenacity, love and empathy, acceptance and growth, and above all, the purity of thought. Born with cerebral palsy, Ms Tamana Chona had delayed milestones. While her progress was slow in the beginning, surrounded by immense love of a wonderful family and a valiant mother, Dr. Shayama Chona, who herself is a renowned educationist and the founder-president of the Tamana NGO. Having such a wonderful woman by her side, she emerged from the ashes like a phoenix. Tamana, a TEDx speaker and ambassador for world peace, is the inspiration behind the Tamana Foundation, a school for multiple challenged and autistic individuals with an aim of making them socially and economically independent. She's a perfect example of partnership between the world of inclusion and the community. Tamana is a ray of sunshine. Her journey wasn't an easy one, and we're going to know that today, how she overcame each hurdle with grace and dignity. Today, we're going to talk about three powerful women. One, of course, is Ms Tamana Chona. The other is her mother, Dr. Shayama Chona. And the third is my guest for tonight, Ms Aditi Mehrotra. Hey Aditi, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me on your show. I don't think I am powerful. I think I derive my power from both the powerful ladies. So thank you so much. And at the outset, I'd like to congratulate you, Rajat, for your book release.
Thank you so much.
So what really attracted me to the book was the cover of your book. And it has a very powerful message, unjudge your teenager. I think it's very important because nowadays the teenagers are facing a lot of speculative criticism and from the society that's too quick to form opinions. So this comes in as a saving sanity guide for many parents of the teenagers. So thank you so much for launching this book. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aditi, for such kind words, and it really means a lot coming from the mother of a teenager. And yes, the book is about the journey from awareness to acceptance to action for a parent, because parents are role models for their children, and children show what they see. So a lot of times, unintentionally, parents tend to judge their teenagers. So the book is about that, on how they can reflect upon themselves and move forward.
So I wish you rave reviews and I wish you a lot of success. I mean, the kind of rave reviews we got for our book, I Am Tamana. And the most wonderful thing that was emotionally rewarding for both of us was that many schools pan-India have taken up our book as their supplemental reader. Yes. So schools are in a way encouraging other students to accept and understand their peers with special needs. So that's been very, very heartwarming and I'm so happy about it. And the second thing, I feel that even the publishers, all thanks to Mr. Ashok Chopra, Hay House Publication, so they are recognizing the importance of representation and inclusion of people with disabilities, and more books are coming up from authors with disabilities and characters that have disabilities. So I'm really happy.
And I'm so glad, and Tamanna, the book, is leading the path. And this also reminds me of the TEDx talk by Tamanna, where she spoke about, where it says, the TEDx talk says, Tamanna, a limitless canvas.
Yes.
It's so beautifully, and the way she speaks, I mean, there was so much impact, influence, power, so much honesty, so much authenticity in the way she spoke. And I can understand she works with children. I mean, she has, she's a nursery school teacher now, and she's teaching children. And working with children requires so much empathy, requires so much, how she just connects with them. It's beautiful.
If you ask her, she's going to say that, no, Rajat, I don't need any of this. I just need love for the children. That is who she is.
Yeah. And of course, I'm also speaking to the co-author of the book. I am Tamanna, and that's you. So on that note, let me have your introduction now. So let everybody know the beautiful person that you are. A sheer fervor for healthy and nourishing diet made Aditi choose the vocation that she's now a veteran in. Having mastered the science of health and nutrition, Aditi, a two-time gold medalist, completed her dietetic internship at AIIMS, the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, New Delhi, in 1995. Wow, that's a long way. With over 22 years of providing her patients with a sweet, generous blend of a nutritional expertise based on Ayurveda and naturopathy, along with motivational counseling. She's a diet mentor for many. Her double-edged focus encompassing curated nutritional counseling and preventive guidance led her to two startup ventures, Diet Dead, Develop Intelligent Eating Traits, started in 1996, that offers nutritional counseling to individuals and offers nutrition and health education workshops to parents, women groups, and I know you did one recently also, corporate executives, and senior citizens. Army's Backyard, a nutrition-based learning hub for children, launched in 2008. She's a nutrition and lifestyle consultant with Backfo Pharmaceuticals Private Limited. Since the year 2012, she's been volunteering at the Tamanna NGO since 2013 for disabled children as a nutritionist and specializes in diets for children with multiple disabilities like the Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, autism, and more. A beautiful work you're doing. I mean, I'm reading it and I'm getting more and more inspired.
Thank you. It makes me sound ancient. You know, you go back in 19 so and so, Rajat.
Yeah, it's like 1995 AD or BC.
Yes.
No, come on. You're a vibrant self in front of us. She also writes a weekly column for After Hours DNA Rajasthan edition. She's contributed in writing a weekly column for Indian Express Chandigarh as a project lead in safe and nutritious foods at schools initiative by FSSAI, the Food Safety and Standard Authority of India. She authored the Yellow Book in May 2017. And the list goes on and on and on. And of course, we have our theme for the day, the co-author of I Am Tamanna. So welcome once again.
Thank you, Rajat.
So Aditi, just share with us that when is the first time that you were introduced to Tamanna and how did your journey with her begin?
Oh, it was many months ago. It was almost a decade back. It was, you know, Rajat, some friendships are made in heaven, and this one is just that. And it was love at first sight. It was also very comical because I remember meeting her at one of the Tamanna centers, and just before that, where I volunteer as a nutrition consultant. So just before that, I had sat down with the mother, and she didn't mention anything about Tamanna. All she said was, just counsel her for healthy eating habits and stuff like that. So when I met Tamanna, so I saw this on one fine afternoon. I saw this wobbly shadow walking toward me, but with authority. And when she approached me, she knew my name, she knew my profession, she was able to guess. And, her introduction speaks a lot about her even before she enters the room. So I knew that, okay, this has to be Tamanna, because all the students of Tamanna went running to her and waving out to her. And so when she came over to me, she said, okay, so mom must have asked you to talk about healthy food. But I eat healthy, and taking ownership of the fact that I eat a lot of unhealthy food. I love my pizzas, I love my Coke, I love my burgers, and I'm a foodie. I go out often, but this, I don't have molars, and it's difficult to chew. So on an average, I'm eating very healthy, gobi and dal and everything. But that's about me. But I'm able to burn it all. So, whatever calories I'm taking in through Coke and pizza and all, I'm able to burn it out. So I said, okay, how? And she didn't even give me a minute to even respond or react or ask her.
Yeah.
So I said, oh, all right, tell me how. So she said, well, I play tennis. Then tables turned. So she asked me, do you play tennis? I said, no, I love tennis, but as a spectator. So she said, I swim. Do you swim? So I said, no, I'm not very comfortable in water. So then she said, I do yoga every day. Do you do yoga? I said, no. And then she said, then the list went on. She said, I go for my dance classes, I do this, I do that. And it was that day, and now Rajat, she is my personal trainer. She's my coach. Every day there's a call come in and she says, how did you burn your calories? Did you go for a walk? Did you do this? Did you do that? So it's very...
actually done.
Yes.
The rules have changed.
I guess only Tamana could do that, no one else. Yeah. So that's how I met her, and the journey has been very meditative. I mean, seriously, even book writing with her, co-authoring, is actually meditative. People talk about miracles created by God. I see a miracle right in front of me. This miracle is Tamanna. She's been created by her parents. They are full of faith, and they have a very different value system. I see them positive all through and through. They never missed even a single opportunity. Her brother, he's always there as the Rock of Gibraltar. He's always there.
Right?
Yes. So Vikram Bhaiya, I feel, he's always protected her, but at the same time never allowed her to feel helpless or weak. And he's still there. He still empowers her, with all the qualities that a big brother would, and she retains her independence. Of course, he's very protective, and along with Tamanna, all her friends like us, we are also, under his chatra chaya. He's that umbrella looking after us, and his wife Abha. She's an amazing person, and Tamanna chose her for her brother because she was her teacher, and she loved her. She loved her.
Okay.
The best of friends, her nieces. They are so sensitive towards people, like Tamanna. Both the girls spend a lot of time at Tamanna NGO interacting with students. So what I want to tell you is that if you know Tamanna, you know the entire family. If you are friends with Tamanna, you're friends with the entire family, and her friends are your friends, and your friends become her friends. Your family is her family. So this is how she goes. And you learn such an important lesson that, live life, don't complicate it, live every day of your life with so much gusto, and this is how she is, and there is so much to learn from her. We'll sit down and we judge people, and she just sees only the good in everybody. She's able to chaff the good from the bad. And one really nice thing about her is what I've learned. She tells me that, oh, that person is not bad, only his deeds are bad. That person is good. He's a good person, he's a nice
So
person.
she's able to separate the action from the person.
Yes.
Beautifully.
Yeah.
Beautifully. So
That's
she's
right.
actually someone who doesn't judge people, and she's very pure in understanding them.
I think she knows how people are, but she makes it a point, Rajat, not to, to see only the good in that person. That's it. She will never talk about a person. Like, it was such a funny thing that happened. Some lady had come down to meet Dr. Choda at her office, and my colleague Udaina and I happened to be there with Tamanna. And Udaina and I, we got down to talking, and all we could see or notice in that lady was her Louis Vuitton bag, her, the diamonds she wore and this and that. And when we stepped out, I think we were thrown out of the meeting. When three of us stepped out, Tammy said, oh, did you see her smile? She has such a wonderful smile. And we both went like, we didn't notice that. So the journey goes on, and she's unstoppable. She's unstoppable. She's a party person. Never gets tired.
Yeah, amazing energy. Yeah, amazing positive energy.
Yes.
And I know when you're talking, as you're speaking, and it's in your eyes and it's in your smile, the way you're talking about her, there's such a beautiful friendship I see between the two of you. So when did that start? Really, when did you first feel that connect with her?
I compare my friendship to her with the Disney characters, everyone's favorite Disney characters. I've written that about it in the book.
Yes.
Winnie the Pooh and Piglet. So it just happened once, Rajat, we were sitting and she asked me, so what day is it? So I said, oh, it's today. And she said, oh, that's my favorite day. Let's party. And this has really happened with Piglet and Winnie the Pooh. It's part of the conversation. And just like Winnie the Pooh, she doesn't like complicated people, using very free language or Shakespearean way of talking. She likes simple people, So I really could relate to, I could see the resemblance between the two characters. One is my character, Tamanna, and the other one is...
Which one is you and which one is me? Okay.
I'm definitely the Piglet. Or sometimes she's the Piglet and I'm Winnie the Pooh. So yeah, so the friendship started since then. And but when I look at her, or anybody looks at her, she doesn't look her age, by the way. She still looks in her late 20s. And it is quite contrast to how she was born, Right now you see the beauty and the confidence in Tamanna. But earlier, she was born with floppy limbs like that of a rag doll. Uncontrollably, she would drool. And she had a squint in her eye, and there was no muscular control. This is not how she was born. She doesn't look the same that she was born like. And I think it is all thanks to her family, and it is definitely thanks to the tireless efforts of Chona Man and her patience that she is who she is today. Hats off to the mother-daughter duo. That is what I see. The dynamism is amazing.
And for the uninitiated, it would be really nice if you can share more about cerebral palsy, and also correct me if I'm pronouncing it correctly or not.
You're pronouncing it even better than me. I think it's palsy, but it doesn't matter. As long as we understand. So whose version do you want for cerebral palsy? My version, which is going to be a very boring one, or do you want Tamanna's version? Because she's written about it in her book.
I want Tamana's version.
Okay. So in her version, cerebral means anything to do with the brain, and palsy means problems with using the muscles. So she says that my birth was very celebratory, and even before I was born, it was so action packed that my mother went into a prolonged labor, and the doctors came in late, and she had assisted delivery. And when I came into the world from darkness to lightness, I had a compressed head. That is what she says, because cerebral palsy, on my version, that is a very boring version. It is actually a group of neurological disorders and disabilities, and the motor disability is there, the speech disability is there, there are spinal deformities. I mean, to the degree it differs from person to person, and that happens, due to lack of supply of oxygen, blood, and nutrients to the brain of the fetus, and it's normally around at the time of birth or within the first 2 years of birth. So that is what cerebral palsy is. I mean, it's like a continuous effort on part of the parents, not just the treating doctors, because she underwent one surgery after the other, and one intervention after the other. But I think at the end of the day, the mother faced it all. I mean, Tamana could not suckle nor swallow. I mean, she couldn't even speak till the age of 9. And there is a very nice story about a Narangiwala, the orange seller, who came to their rescue, and he's the one who actually made Tamana stand on her feet with help of the mother. So for that, you've got to read Tamana's book.
Yes, we should leave something for them to make an effort and go and take the book for that. Oh yes. Now I can recall the story. I have read the book, but I want them to read it on their own. Amazing. Now,
and then one more thing. So I often hear her saying that, everyone grows out of molds, but I am premium and I'm handcrafted. That is what she calls herself. So that's beautiful. She is, yes.
She is the limitless canvas. Oh, I just love these words. Now, Tamana has so many amazing qualities, and you've been sharing that, and there is so much to learn from her. What's that one thing about her that we can learn today?
I guess, don't lose out on that sparkling, free-spirited you. We come in contact with many people with different types of, their nature is different, but she stuck to her own simplicity and purity. That, I think, we lose on our way in our journey of meeting so many people. And, she's so uncomplicated herself. She wants each one of us to live like that. Why think of tomorrow, when you're living in today? And her virtues, I mean, you've read in the book and you were sharing this with me, that her virtues are like that of Holy Bible. Everything is there, gratitude, the beauty, everything is there. One major quality I think we all should also sort of live with is just see the good in everyone. Don't bring in toxicity inside of you. I mean, if we start appreciating only the good, I think we'll be able to make it a very nice, livable place, with everyone. And I've described, if you may allow me to read from the book,
yes,
I've described a little about her. So it goes like this. Sparkling, free-spirited, and vibrant are few of the many adjectives to describe her. She is like a beautiful firework brightening up the night sky. With her thoughts, words, and actions, she spreads the sparks of goodness into her universe, every atom at its magnificent display. Balanced, calm, poised, fun-loving, tolerant. She is uncomplicated and unaffected, Who is guiding her? Who is her spiritual guru? No one. She has managed to discover her own guiding light within her. We too have it within us, unnoticed, unheard, dormant.
Wow. Reading is different when you say it. It's a completely different thing. Wow. So beautiful.
Thank you.
It's about being your free spirited self. It's about that simplicity. It's about that purity. It's about seeing the good in people.
Yes.
Wow. And I want to read something else from the book now. That's from the foreword that's been written by her mother. That's Dr. Chona. And it reads, over the years I've observed that my daughter Tamana really wants nothing from her own life. All she wants is to give, and only give. She indeed sets a living example for all parents of challenged children to get rid of self-limiting beliefs and look for the unexplored corners of the child's creativity. Aditi, you've observed the mother-daughter bond. Of course, we know Dr. Shayama Chona, the educationist and the president of an organization. But I believe she'll also agree that her priority will always be the mother that she is. You've observed the mother-daughter bond so closely. What would you like to say about that?
Wow. So if Tamana is the star shining bright, the mother is the sun. And I think you know her as an educationist. Very few know about her that she had a degree in fine arts. So when I visited her, yes,
That's a surprise.
visited her home for the first time. Yeah, yes. So when I visited her home for the first time, at her home on the sidewalk, I saw these damaged, broken figurines of gods and goddesses. And if you know the prevalent Hindu culture, we don't keep broken gods, goddesses figurines at home. So much to my surprise, I voiced my concern and I asked Dr. Chona, I said, well, how come, these figurines are lying here all broken? Why haven't you just done away with them? And she looked at me, and I really thought that this is because she's a sculptor herself, she finds beauty in everything. So her answer took me by surprise, and this was one of the triggers that I wanted to help Tamana come up with the book. So she said, when gods and goddesses have given me Tamana as a broken doll in my lap, these are just pieces of stone. So that really shook me, and this is how Tamana's mother is. She spends a lot of time every day. She must visit the 3 centers. She spends a lot of time with the students, and you see miracles happening there. Inside the NGO, where a student is wheeled in on a wheelchair, and within a couple of months' time, or 6 months down the line, the child is able to stand up and start walking. So what I want to say is that this bond is very strong of mother and daughter, but it's not limited there. I mean, Tamana is an amazing daughter to my mother, and Dr. Chona is my mother. I mean, Tamana has shared her mother with I don't know how many of us, and we're all her daughters. But Rajat, okay, I'll again read out something which I have written. Okay, so just a minute. All right, so Tamana is born, and this is what is going to sum it up for you. Yeah, Tamana's bond with her mother is intense and wonderful. Looks like this mother-daughter duo operates on a Wi-Fi connection. The souls seem to be paired through a heavenly Bluetooth device that does not get disabled. It seems every morning they get manually connected through a simple technology called a hug. Tamana's mother seems to be a GPRS tracking device. She tracks the easiest and a less congested route to ensure Tamanna reaches her destination without any obstructions. The data transmission in this mother-daughter dynamics occurs with unlimited hugs and kisses. The two are large-hearted, giving, forgiving, and sacrificing women with a strong sense of responsibility. Sometimes even I try and pair my beating device in their connectivity and recharge myself with their boundless love and tenderness. So this is how I can best tell you about the bond.
Yeah, you left me speechless after that. I think you have really summed it up, the bond for me and for everyone here. It's beautiful. Written so beautifully and spoken so beautifully.
Trust me, I'm not a writer, I'm not an author, and I really want to thank all who have helped me, and I don't need to name them, they know who they are. But Dr. Chona, I mean, where we were to write about, my experience with dealing with children's diets and all, it turned out to be helping Tamanna co-author this book. I think Dr. Chona really finds the knack in you, or she has so much faith in you that you want to, you want to stand up to her expectations. So this is what became out of it. I mean, I'm not a writer.
Beautiful. Yes. No, you are a writer. You've written a lot of books now. And you're writing one more.
No, I'm going to be, Rajat, I'll be co-authoring or maybe I'll be working on Dr. Chona's book. No, I really wanted Dr. Chona to come up with a book. Let's see what do the parents face, what kind of difficulties they overcome. So I'm really after her to write a book. So let's see if she agrees and how soon do we get on.
Mona, please write the book. We are all waiting for it and we really, really want to read it. So please do write. Amazing. So of course you shared that when you saw the broken figurines of gods is when somehow you thought of the book or whatever came up. But how did that idea really come up for the book? Was there more to it or it was just that?
Oh, I think Tamanna became impatient and she said, what the heck, you both are taking so long, let me start writing myself. So she didn't give us that much time. Yeah. Initially, Dr. Chona and I, let me tell you, we are the proud alumni of Maharani Gayatri Devi School, a few batches apart. And I have always been drawn to the kind of work Dr. Chona is doing in education space and more so in disability space. So when we met, she called me in and I started volunteering as a nutrition advisor, and just how I mentioned to you that, I was to collate my experience as a preventive nutritionist and come up with case studies and a book on dietary and nutritional needs for children. So I realized that, the days I would go, I would interview her. The days I wouldn't go to Tamanna, I started asking her and many other friends. We all told her, why don't you start writing a diary? So she picked up her iPad, and technology is her best friend, and she started keying in her thoughts. And let me tell you, the kind of love she has with the undo and redo button, I don't think anybody would love it so much the way Tamanna does. So that's how, and we have met, or you must have come across many one book a lifetime kind of authors. This girl has already authored one. She has come up with her own journal, Happify Your Life. That's what she's named it.
That is volume one. The book. One of the chapters.
One of the chapters, yes. Which you liked, I guess, right? So that's one journal, and she's come up with the second volume of her journal. Then she realized that, the pace is very slow. So she started blogging. every day she writes. So she is the real writer in the true sense. So that's how Tamanna, when she started writing all this, and then Dr. Chona, she was diagnosed with cancer. So she, our speed became a little slow, and then it just got down to, because Tamanna was writing so beautifully. She remembers the names, the hospital she visited so many years back. She remembers everything. So then we said that, it's like only Tamanna writing, so she has to be the author. So Dr. Chona said, okay, go ahead with it. She really was surprised. I think we all were taken by surprise, with her writing skills. And I happened to be knowing her so well and understanding her thoughts. And that is where I say that if she is the voice, I am the echo. And that's how the book came up.
She's the voice, I'm the echo. So I'll just share a bit. We've been talking about Dr. Chona here. So I was someone who was born and brought up in Kanpur. I was 8 years old when I shifted to Delhi. And those days, if you remember, getting admissions to, so Delhi public school used to be, it's the top 3 always schools then. And getting admission to that school was not really easy. So at that time, Mr. Lugani was the principal, and Chona ma'am was the vice principal at that point in time. And it was not easy to get the admission into the school, but you go through the test, the interviews, and it used to be a process. So ma'am was then the vice principal, and I was 2 years in Arkipuram. Then, because I was, my admission was for Vasant Kunj, we were the first batch for TPS Vasant Kunj. From there, if you go take a leap, my niece was studying at Lotus Valley International, Gurgaon. And Chona ma'am was there at the investiture ceremony. And that's when I saw her. And I was really excited to meet her, because it was after so many years, and it was like, you see, you meet her. And I just went and I met her, and I was just speaking about generally what I do. And she said, Rajat, why don't you come over to Tamanna and let's have a conversation. I'm like, yeah, sure. And when we met, before we met, of course, I was at Tamanna. We took the round of the place. Blessing was there, who took me over to the place and stuff.
Right.
It was a heart-wrenching, yet a very heartwarming experience. Going through the whole Tamanna place, seeing everybody over there. It's such an equipped place. I spoke to the teachers over there. I saw there were also rooms where they could actually, the children could, the students, everybody could actually go and also sleep over there if they wanted. So it's a completely equipped system. And one of the teachers said that sometimes what happens, parents generally leave their children and they don't come to take them back. And so they have a room over there also for them. Then I met Dr. Chona, and I saw that compassionate side of her. She was compassionate yet very enthusiastic. She's like, Rajat, okay, so you spoke about this child who has Asperger's and you worked with him. So do you use technology with it? What do you do? How do you do it? There was so much enthusiasm and excitement. And then, of course, my journey with her went a little forward. Now, I want to ask you, because you're so closely connected to the Tamanna NGO, and I do know about the amazing work that's been happening over there. Can you share about the spectacular things that are happening at the Tamanna NGO?
Rajat, she started Tamanna way back in 1984. I joined Tamanna much later, but I'd heard a lot about this school. And, the Tamanna fraternity, the entire family, including the students, they're all so closely knit that I also wanted to be part of it. And the kind of teachers, special needs, special educators, and other specialists we have, they're all so dedicated because they see the leader, hands-on with the children. so dedicated. And where it was, when it was started, I remember I was told, and I've seen the photographs also, Dr. Chona invited, Lady Diana had come to inaugurate the very first center when it was in a shed with only 4 students. And it started like that. And now, of course, we are a huge, big family with over 400, 500 students. We have 3 centers now, and our autistic center is one of the best in India. We are awarded 3 consecutive years, and this was of course, there are very cute anecdotes along with this, stories that I can share. So when Lady Diana came down, she invited Tamanna to the Buckingham Palace, and she said, will you come and live with me there? So Tamanna refused. She says, no, I'm not going to come to Buckingham Palace. She said, why? She says, my aunt lives there. I just have to ring the doorbell and she'll open the door, and there I go into her arms. But when I come to your palace, I don't know where the gate is and where the palace is. This is what
so cute.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, And the third center, that is the Autism Center, was inaugurated by late Shri Abdul Kalam Azad. And the cute thing about this episode is that, Dr. Azad asked Tamanna to call him Mamu. As per the protocol, he was to spend 10-15 minutes there. But looking at the infrastructure, looking at the way we are, handling children, he spent 2 hours. Yes. So what I want to say is that, and this organization is named after Tamanna. So you can imagine, Tamanna means longing, longing and aspiration. And still I find it was and continues to be Dr. Chona's aspiration to see children on their feet as happy, useful, self-dependent, self-reliant and integrated members of the society. And that's how she started a skill development unit also. We have over 20 skill units, and we assess the child's capability and level of interest, and then we train them. Because, everybody talks about other disadvantageous groups, but when you actually get into such an organization, you find that this group is the most disadvantageous because there are no jobs for them. So once we are skilling them, training them, then what? Even the parents keep questioning us after this, what? So we are trying to reabsorb them, and we put them on a salary or a stipend, but we need continuous business. We have amazing products. Haven't you heard of, the saying that to a great mind, nothing is little? And that is how Dr. Chona is. She is an encourager. I mean, we stand there and we say, oh, is he capable of doing it? Do you think we should put him in this particular skill development? She says, if the environment is there, he or she will do it. And here at the centers, we believe in, progress, not perfection. We know that things are going to come through. So when you visited one of the centers, you would have been greeted by all the students. They are so happy. We see smiling faces. So and the work goes on. I mean, we are such a proud family, and I'm so proud to be part of this family. So beautiful. It's really nice. Next time you come, I'll take you to the other centers as well.
Yes, I will definitely go. And even Chona ma'am was very gracious enough to take me around the center, to some part of the center. We saw all the paintings we made, the art room which was there, and then the way she was interacting with one of the girls over there, and it was amazing. It was like a very transformational experience for me. I just loved it, and I'd love to do whatever I can. Okay, so Aditi, I do recall you mentioning about we were having our chat about the parent interactions that you have for diet at the Manna. So please share more about that.
Okay, so Rajat, parents of children with special needs are already running pillar to post. Of course, if they come to Tamana, they don't have to do that anymore because we have most of the specializations under one roof. That is what the purpose was behind, this Dr. Chona starting this society and organization. So what I felt was that if I'm able to reach out to such parents who are already spending so much on their medication, diet plays a very, very important role. It is like one of the major pillars of their recovery and growth as well as development. I counsel the parents and I tell them that don't use food as a babysitter, because you leave the child with a bottle of aerated drink and the child will like it, but what havoc it's going to play in the physiology, that you have to be aware of. So some of the children are finding a lot of peace, comfort in fried foods. So we are constantly trying to teach parents to limit the HFSS foods, which are high in fat, salt, and sugar. So packaged foods, processed foods, I mean, they are all reachable and they just have it and they love it. So I started 2 skill development units at Tamana. One is a sun drying unit where we sun dry the herbs and the fruits so that children are able to do it themselves at home as well. And the other one is terrace or container gardening, terrace herb gardening or container gardening. So in winter, you must visit us. You're going to find our terrace, all the children are working in the sun, broad daylight, and getting all soaked in vitamin D from the sunlight. Yeah, and then we, use the same herbs or greens, they're growing the greens and we send it down to the hostel. The mess is cooking the same greens which they have grown. And we also compost whatever kitchen waste is there. So all this is really helping them be aware of the kind of or variety of vegetables and fruit that they have, they should be eating. We also came up with a canteen, healthy canteen for the children, by the children, of the children. So Rajat, now I have a question. Let me turn the tables. Like Tamana does. Okay, so somebody mentioned in the book about this study by UNICEF that 58% of the adolescents they experience academic stress, and 23 or 27% exhibit anxiety. General anxiety. So, because I have discovered a lot of things, like, the wheel of life is kind of, I sat down and worked on it. And, the roadmap of dealing with a child's mind, developing mind, is so beautifully illustrated in your book through case studies. And so, how is your book going to help parents?
Sure. So, the book is about, so I have a twofold mission of my life. One is about teenagers gaining clarity in their thought and action, because that is an age where they want to take decisions on their own, but they're not completely equipped to, though they have all the wisdom. So they have everything within them, but they're not able to connect to it. Now, who's the first person in their family, or the first people is their family, is their parents. Now, the way parents communicate with their children makes a lot of difference. The way the parents model the behavior they want to see in their children is what makes a lot of difference. So, for example, sometimes, parents think that my child is exhibiting the body language of defiance. Okay? So they think that the child is being defiant. But sometimes they forget to see their own body language. Maybe it's what you are reflecting is what your child is projecting. So the intention of the book is that the parents and teenagers, we can fill in that communication gap. Because if we can fill in the communication gap that exists between parents and teenagers, the parents can then nurture their teens to actually unlock their potential, is what is also the tagline of the book, is so that they can, so for example, if you just ask your child, how was school? They will give you one word answers, or so for them, it was good, it was okay. Now as a parent, you want to know more. You want to know, because you want to ensure that your child is safe and everything is fine in school, but he's not or she is not sharing it with you. They're giving you one word answers which are not giving you any solutions. So whereas on a teenage level, I coach teens on the types of emotions they are there, the feelings that are beyond good and bad. As parents, it's about how you're asking that question to them. It also comes to educators over there. Now, I work with children on a day in and day out basis. I do a lot of personal coaching with them. And yesterday I was interacting with one of he's a new client of mine, new young client of mine. And the parents have kind of delayed his coaching. They had approached me a year back, but they said that he has his boards, but we'll do it after the boards. Although, if he had done it before the boards, it's better for him, because when your self-esteem increases, everything else is just an impact of that. We always say academics, but it's a lot to do with your self-esteem. So now, each child has a very unique learning style. Some children, and you would know that, some children understand, they learn by visuals. They're very good with graphs, and if they're watching videos, they will learn faster. Some children are auditory. They will really, when they're listening to things, they will, especially languages. There's some children who are facing issues with that. If they listen to it, they can learn better. And in fact, auditory children are also very deep. They can, when they close their eyes, they can really meditate and they can get a lot of things out of themselves. And the third are kinesthetic children, who are more very practical, and they want to do things first, very hands-on experience. So if educators can understand the learning style of the children, a lot can be dealt beautifully. So the book is about parents reflecting upon themselves and then taking off their belief system and then communicating with the children. So there are 3 parts to the book: awareness, acceptance, and action. Action is the part where they're actually how they can manage common teen issues, which could be anywhere from managing their anxiety, exam stress, managing screen time, cyberbullying, pornography. There's so many things that are happening nowadays. And I have actually given steps. It's written very categorically in steps that do this. This is the way how you have the dialogue with your child. How will you communicate with them? So that they can just go and implement it. So it's like a crisp guide for parents, which they can just use on the go.
Yes, I've read it and I feel it's going to be very helpful. But I wanted to hear it from the horse's mouth.
Yeah, and I can go on and on about it. Okay.
Like how I can go on and on with I Am Tamana, the book. Yes, it's been such an awesome journey for me. So this Snapchat generation, as they are termed and as they are tagged everywhere, they are so conscious about their looks. They are self-deprecating, and they love the filters that come along with so many of the apps, and so that they can adjust. Or if their nose is not looking nice, then they'll soon they'll put those bunny ears kind of a filter, and they're good to go.
Also for teenagers, it's more about it starts from who likes me,
yes,
to who am I. So for them, external validation, appreciation, acknowledgement, that really matters. And if that is coming, because the most common, coming to the title of the book, the most common fear of a teenager is being judged. They feel judged. They constantly feel judged. So if that can somehow be taken care of, everything else can be. And that brings me to expressing my gratitude to you for gifting your expertise for one of the chapters of my book. And it's about what you were just speaking about, body image and eating disorders. Honestly, when I was reviewing my book, my draft, and it's taken me a lot of time to write this book, put it together. It's taken me a lot of time. While I was reviewing it, I thought there was one thing that was missing, and that was about eating habits of teenagers, because I also witness sometimes. So I coach this kid, and he used to be constantly, when we were doing the session, he used to start with his chips and his coke, and he was doing that. So I know how eating habits matter, really. So please share a little bit about the eating disorders, and it will be really nice.
Okay, so see, if we kind of get the teenagers coming to me through you, then I think half the battle is won. I don't have to get into the armchair psychologist kind of bit. One thing is there. I counsel parents separately and I counsel the teenagers separately, and I realize that they are really fed up of the labeling. It can be a problem eater or a problem child, or even a small little toddler. Parents come up with such heavy jargons like "my child is a picky eater." They don't even understand the meaning of it, scientifically, in that kind of a nutrition terminology. So picky eater, problem eater, junkie, foodie, I just don't understand why they come up with that. And they are the same
parents, the child's mind.
Exactly. And they are the same parents who would be, by the end of the day, will be sitting with a drink and some namkeen and this and that, and telling the child, you shouldn't do it, you shouldn't do that. So they are not the role models. So it's very imperative that we teach that good nutrition is the most crucial factor, yes, but it has to be done in a very friendly manner. First, the dad has to start eating papaya and bottle gourd and bitter gourd, and then start pointing fingers at the child. So I think there has to be a structured meal time. There has to be a structured meal menu for the entire week. And slowly and steadily, the entire family has to get together and help the child in distress. Help the child, because he or she is under a lot of peer pressure and comparison. And again, this selfie culture is so strong. So when they have to live a life without filters, they just can't handle it. So I think it's more to do with us as parents. We have not done our homework well, and the child has resorted to this kind of a thing. So that is, I think, needs to be dealt with very importantly. And just like how we instill values in a child, we have to instill good eating habits in a child. That's a must.
Indeed, it's a must, and I think it kind of, because as you say, your emotions, everything are reflecting on your food. My child is not eating enough, or my child is eating too much, or he's not eating, or sometimes it's like a therapy for them also, food, that because I'm feeling so stressed, I'll just eat it and I'll feel good. So it becomes like a shortcut, or a shortcut to life. Just like sometimes being on screen is like a shortcut to dealing with real life issues. So great inputs. And I would like to say this. I would like to end it with our one shairi, which is there in the book, and it's the chapter. My favorite chapter from I Am Tamana book is the Happy Five Life, as you said. So it says हजारों ख्वाहिशें ऐसी कि हर ख्वाहिश पे दम निकले, बहुत निकले मेरे अरमान मगर फिर भी कम निकले. I would really like you to pick up your favorite line from this chapter, and if you could just read a line from there, from Happify Your Life.
All right. My favorite chapter is definitely not Happify Your Life, because I had the main person only happifying my life living with me. So, but I'm going to read out from Happify Your Life.
Read it for me.
Okay. I'll read it for you. This is something she practices like daily. She says, I would say it is not worth fussing about small things. It is not worth thinking about what happened yesterday. Be thankful to him for what you have and not what you should have. And if you don't have something in your life which you feel you should, then remember that He has not given it to you, not because He doesn't want to, but because He wants you to have something even better. Be like me and be thankful to God for everything you have. Leave your little worries behind and spend your energies and time then now in something more constructive by being optimistic and spreading positive energy around you and in the lives of your loved ones. You know, she's selfless. She's selfless. I mean, I would think of just happifying my own self, but she is able to happify her own self and the people around her, you know. So this is what I really liked about the chapter.
And this is a line which so applies in today's times when we are all stuck in our houses, and it's a great time to be thankful for what you have rather than feeling what's not in your control. So if it's happening, there is something better in store for you. And it also says that be thankful for what you have rather than being thankful for what you should have. That's such a beautiful message, Tamanna. And Tamanna, I know you'll be watching this, so cheers to you and cheers to your spirit. Cheers to Ma'am Chona Ma'am. I'm really thankful to you for writing the foreword of my book. I'm really thankful to you for I Am Tamanna, the book, which is so beautifully done, and of course Aditi. So much gratitude for you for being here and spending the time.
It was a pleasure, Rajat. Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you. Thank you all for watching it.
Alright, so great. I'll catch up with you next week on another episode of Goal Getters with Rajat Soni. Till then, stay safe and stay awesome.